One of our other sponsors is World 9 Gaming. From PCs to arcades and consoles, old and new, World 9 Gaming aims to provide the highest quality video game experience to events in the Midwest and beyond. With our dedicated staff, tournament expertise, and expansive collection of games and consoles, World 9 is ready to take your event to the next level. For information on booking and upcoming events, check world9gaming.com. So next up will be Akerasi racing Bangai-O. Running Bangai-O.
Close enough. Yeah. Hello, everyone. So here we are running a game that, well, probably almost no one's seen before that's here, because, well, as far as I know, there's probably only about 50 people who've ever watched a run of it, total. This is Bangai-O on the Sega Dreamcast. It was first released on the N64, but the N64 version is considerably different, and the Dreamcast version is much better for a speed run in any case. So it's a pretty strange game for a control scheme compared to what most people are used to, because it mostly controls like a twin-stick shmup, except that when you stop moving, you fall, because it's like a side view. And as you see, you can do very large attacks in it. The main mechanic of the game is that super attack that I used to kill the boss effectively in one hit. And those super attacks, they cause a lot of lag, and they are larger depending on the amount of enemy fire around you. More enemy fire, larger attack. And otherwise, you know, fire like a typical twin-stick shmup, fires pretty quickly. But most of the ways you defeat the bosses in the game are by those big super attacks. I actually switched a little too late and was the wrong character for a moment, but that's okay. This is a little slower than it should be. But that sort of thing happens sometimes.
You want to explain the difference between the two character types?
Sure. So there's two different firing modes in this game. One of them is your bouncing lasers, which has the female character, whose name is Mommy, if anyone cares, and the male character, Ricky, has homing missiles. And you can switch back and forth between them with just one button press. And a lot of speedrunning this game and doing it quickly is about lag reduction, because the lag in this game is insane sometimes. And this is, you know, it's running on a Dreamcast as running a 2D game in 240p, but it still lags like crazy because there's just so much happening on the screen. Now, the first 7 levels are kind of a tutorial in a way. They kind of teach you the basic concepts of the game if you were to play them casually. But that doesn't actually make them easy in a speedrun. In fact, levels 3 and 4 have some of the toughest and worst quick kills in the game, and I almost got the quick kill, but not quite. The perfect quick kill on that is actually just killing the boss with just one attack. It has to be an absolute max size attack, and it has to be perfectly positioned. You can kill the boss in just one attack, but that's still pretty good. That's the good backup, shall we say. So there's actually a fair bit of story in this game, but we've effectively turned it off, because you literally turn off the story by turning off the one switch in the menu. You'd actually see like weird little conversations before every of these little boss battles, and the boss in that stage, as you noticed, was simply a green sphere on the wall. It does absolutely nothing except is there to take damage and symbolize the end of the level, because you have to kill a boss to finish any level. Sometimes they're just those green spheres though.
The hardest ones are the ones being basically yourself.
Right, the ones that are the same size as you are usually all the difficult ones. Most of the ones that are, you know, the large ones like that, they're actually that easy usually. They just blow up like that.
Yeah.
This game is beautiful.
It is. It is a very pretty game for for a 2D game on the Dreamcast. It's got all kinds of stuff going on. Just way too much fun to watch, at least in my opinion. That's why I started running it. That and the fact that it's just a game that I really love.
Bomb trails get pretty hard, though.
Yep, some of the mechanics in that level don't necessarily make sense at first, and I'll explain the mechanics now that we're through it. So there's the little blue boxes and green boxes. They're called crystals in the game's, lore when they talk about it. And the little blue boxes you can only fire homing missiles through and you cannot move through. And the green boxes you cannot fire through, but the enemies can fire through, and you cannot move through. But bombs will blow up both of them if there are bombs in that area. Sometimes those mechanics matter. Now, as a twin-stick shmup sort of game, it's a very puzzly game. One of the ways I like to describe the game to people if they ask me is that it is a puzzle game with a twin-stick shmup as the interface. And it's got, these large, expansive levels sometimes, pathing somewhat like a platformer in ways. If that was a little bit slow, you usually want to kill him with that second attack, but too many of the missiles hit the wall. Happens sometimes.
Oh, you actually forgot the most important part of the description. Everything explodes.
That's true. Everything explodes.
Filling the special meter.
Everything explodes.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no iframes.
Yep. That's another important thing. When you take damage in this game, there's absolutely no iframes. You get knocked back, and because of how that works, you can effectively be one-hit killed, even though you've got a health bar. Something does enough damage, it just kills you. Hopefully you won't see that. Well, maybe in one way that's fun, but we'll get to that. So this level's got all these bombs all over the place, right? Now the bombs actually have different explosion radiuses that do damage based on their color. The gold ones do the most damage and over the widest radius. But we still certainly will take some damage because it's the fast way to get through the level. Like that one's pretty much automatic. There's no good way to avoid that in the run without taking extra time.
Whoa!
Yep. When you can do setups with those cores like that, so you can just kill it in one attack, you do, and that's one of the times you have a really good setup for it.
Oh, sound effects are so great.
I agree.
So this level has one of the odd traditions of this run. This super attack here is completely and absolutely unnecessary. It is fun, it is tradition, and it is swag, and I do it every time I do the run. But it's completely unnecessary and it loses time. However, if you aren't having fun, why are you playing games, right?
Yeah.
Now, the other big thing about this level is it actually has one of the first bits of true speed tech that I developed for the game, and that it actually has a little bit of a skip if you get it. It's right here, and it's actually looking kind of bad for it. Oh, I just barely got half of it. So it involves basically killing those rows of bombs as those bricks are falling, which sometimes you can actually get between them if the bots are in the right place. And I kind of halfway got it, which means that I saved 6 seconds as compared to not getting it all, or lost 6 seconds as compared to getting both. That's about what the time is.
Can I fit in a quick donation?
Sure.
We've got an anonymous $50 donations. Donating because Dreamcast is live.
There you go.
Well, I'm glad to hear people liking the Dreamcast. I haven't seen many Dreamcast stream, on this, and well, I'm a huge fan of the console in general and not just this game, so. But yeah, there isn't much to explain about that level. Just kind of go around almost in a circle and kill the boss. Now, this next level is kind of amusing because the speed you can complete the level is almost entirely determined by how fast you complete the first half of it. Because the second half of the level, you mostly have to wait for something that you will be faster than. It's also an easy level to soft lock yourself in if things go wrong and you get bad RNG. But that's not going to happen here. I'm already past the points where that would have happened. So that was the point that we determined how fast we can complete the level. We're already past it. When I set off that bomb trail that's under me is where the bomb trail is. We'll have to wait for that to kind of get to the end before we actually finish the level. So the speed I'm doing this part, even though I do it fast just because it's kind of habit, didn't matter. I'm waiting here. Here we are, see the bomb trail, kill the random guy who's there, doesn't matter. And you had to wait for that, jump on through it, do the attacks. Done.
And the thing goes boom.
Now this next level is actually a pretty difficult quick kill. I actually had to do a lot of figuring out and how to do this one consistently. It's one of the parts of it is that when you do it right, you actually stay as this character rather than switching over to Ricky, which is what you normally do for most of the bosses that are the difficult bosses that are your size. This is one of the ones you do as Mommy because you try to get him to stay in this corridor. And I'm probably, yep, not doing perfect. Yep, it did not go as quick as it should have, but it was sort of acceptable. Probably lost about 8 or 9 seconds, honestly, but it didn't quite go right. Sometimes the RNG goes a little wrong. It's a hard quick kill.
Meanwhile, the Dreamcast is in the corner going, please stop, please.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing to explain about this level. It's about the quickest level in the game.
Yep.
There you go. We're done.
And you killed your father.
Yeah, that's true. That's actually your dad in the storyline. He actually shows up as a boss like 7 times. He doesn't actually die. So these next 3 levels are pretty much pure execution. There's actually a lot to them. There's just a lot of little things you're executing. There's no like real tricks to it. It's just pure raw execution of doing the right steps quickly.
So we got time for another donation?
Yeah, actually, this would be a pretty good donation time.
Great. There's a $5 donation from JRP. I did not realize you were playing at SGDQ, akerasi. Hey, at least it's not Brinstar RTA. Good luck, my friend.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
We've got another $15 donation from Dialest. I must be dreaming. akerasi doesn't seem to think Explosion Invincible Bangai-O has a lot of fans, but I've been excited about this run since I saw it was on the schedule.
Well, so far as I could tell, I haven't encountered all that many, although I've actually encountered a lot of people that say, yeah, it's a pretty awesome game. And then no one ends up caring. That's generally been my experience so far.
Another super, almost.
Yep, that one was
swag.
kind of mostly for fun, yeah.
Almost
Oh,
like
whoop,
the
we
swag
missed it.
super in
Whoops,
14.
we weren't supposed to miss that. Well, now we got to wait for the bomb trail.
Oops.
Wow. This has never happened before.
Oh, I've missed that bomb trail before. Not too often, but I've done it.
Time for one more donation?
Sure.
We've got a $5 donation from me332, longtime fan, first time live viewer. I'm happy to be here to support you guys, and good luck to the next runner. Also, it's me like me. Sorry, I kind of pronounced that wrong the first time.
All right, so yeah, this level, you know, is not a whole lot to it. You just kill the two sets of lasers that hold you back, and doing the quick kill on the boss, you go down there, and those are a new, you know, obstacle. Can't really call it an enemy. They're called bomb traps, and what they do is they take a whole lot of damage, absorb all your missiles for a little bit, and then explode all over the place with lots of attacks. And you can actually use them to set up some really big attacks like that, which is how I did that quick kill. Now, this level is actually one of the most likely places in the run to die if you get it just a little imperfect. That specific dash, it's really dangerous. Hopefully you actually get through that and you don't even slow down. Now I got the kind of halfway, wrong way where I got pushed back, but at least I survived it. It's actually one of the most likely places in the early parts of the run, other than like the bosses, to die. You know, the bosses that actually are difficult, which are like 8, 14, the bosses that look mostly like you.
It's like all of your movements, you just got to remember that you're double tapping to dash.
Yep,
otherwise you just
that's
move at
true.
half speed, right?
That's true. Part of the mechanics of this game, although sometimes I even forget to mention it, is that pretty much every time I'm moving, I'm actually double tapping rather than just holding the direction. Because it's a game where you have a dash mechanic, and that's the way you do it. Now, this level is almost entirely determined by the RNG of this guy's movement. Because you hope to get him dead, and he's not by the time that you run out of your invincibility power-up. It's the first time you see the invincibility power-up, which makes you invincible and to do a damage in a radius around you. But we got mediocre RNG, so he died immediately after my invincibility power-up died when I didn't attack. And this is another, you know, pure execution level. Stuff to go through, steps you got to complete, and get to where you're going.
So we've got time for one more donation.
Yep, sure.
We've got a $25 donation from Big Dr. That. I spent all my high school years playing Bangai-O and Res on the Dreamcast and nothing else. I stayed up all night for this and have no regrets. Killing me to miss all this dialogue though.
Yeah, the dialogue is really hilarious in this game. It's a lot of fun. You know, it's a speed run, so we turned it off because it's not fast, but it's a lot of fun. Maybe if I do this run again, I'll do that as a donation incentive or something. Actually have a dialogue on run.
We've got another $5 donation from Handtuch. Hippity hoppity, this announcement is now my property.
Yep, that's yet another of the large bosses that goes down pretty quick and easy. So this level has a fair bit of RNG in how it works, because you'll see some bots at the bottom of the screen right when it starts. All those bots that were right at the bottom middle of the screen, the purple and gold ones, you need to kill those to open the door. But where they go? Well, wherever they want to go. Seriously. So you need to kind of go hunt them down. But because of how the gravity works, like I said, gravity's a thing in this game. When you fall downwards, they usually mostly end up down in here. And that probably killed them all. Yep, I killed all of them, so you can go up and finish the core.
Kaboom.
That actually went pretty well. It wasn't perfect, but it was pretty good.
Even though you ran out of supers.
I didn't actually. Well, I did a little bit in the middle, but I didn't for the end, which is actually the more important, when you need the exactly 1.5 super bars to end up with 2 supers to fill the core. And in fact, that leads to me to a good time to explain how the super mechanics in this game work. So you've got a bar on the lower left-hand corner and the number. The number is how many supers you currently have stored, and the bar is how close you are to storing another one. And you get more supers simply by stuff exploding near you. Anything that explodes, you gain a little bit of bar, and you can hold up to 5. But if you use them, you can actually run out. And that previous level, the one before that, was the first time that's actually been a thing that, you know, mattered for a little tiny bit. Well, and actually all the way back in the second level it did, and that kill didn't go right.
And the other thing to mention about that is whenever you hear that whistle, that means you've charged up a new shot.
Yep, that is correct. That is a nice little audio cue that tells you when you've charged up a new shot. Speaking of audio cues, I actually do have an audio cue in the next level. Not this one, the next one. It's the only audio cue in the game that, you know, matters to the runner. It's right at the beginning of the level.
Have we got time for another short donation?
Sure.
We've got a $50 donation from MNN. I can't speedrun, but I can donate. We've got another $5 donation from Drax. Always exciting to see a new runner and a new game at SGDQ. Even more awesome when it's someone you are able to call a friend. Good luck, buddy. Runner's
a lot.
choice on incentive.
Thanks.
Yeah, Drex is a person I hang out on his stream a whole lot. Shout out to him.
Audio cue time.
Yep, this is where that audio cue is, so. Whoops, yep, that ain't gonna work. Yep.
Unfortunate.
I was just a little late on the audio cue. That was my trouble there. If you're just a little too late, well, that's about the best you can do. Luckily, it's pretty quick because there's no life system in this game. It's just exactly what it is. It's an individual level sort of game. And every level you start with 2 supers in the tank. That's how it works. Oh, missed out a little. There we go. Got the double kill. So, in this game, if you get a double kill, if you and the boss die, that's a successful completion of the level.
You did it. Yay.
I wanted to show off at least one double kill during
Another
the run.
stage.
Wake up. He's going to be trolly. Whoops. Yep.
That boss
Little bit
usually
trolly.
is.
Yeah, this boss can be really trolly sometimes, and you're kind of dependent on his RNG. You do that first super to try to manipulate him into doing his version of a super against you right at the start. Then it usually goes okay. But if he doesn't, sometimes it doesn't. And you end up kind of messy. And you end up with stuff like this, which is slow because of the lag. I mean, look at the lag this generates, right?
Welcome
we didn't
to
even
lag bots.
finish it. But yeah, the lag this game generates is kind of insane a lot of the time. And this is one of the best levels to show off the levels of lag that this game can
Welcome to
generate.
Lagbots the game.
And I mean, this is a 2D game on Dreamcast. Think about this when you think about the kind of lag we're generating here. Whoops, messed it up again. That one was definitely my fault, not just it being trolling. But luckily, it's pretty quick.
Oh, God.
Yep, that should kill him. But yeah, love that lag. Oh, not
Dreamcast
quite. Need
begging
another
you
one.
to stop.
There we go. But yeah, the lag this game generates sometimes is just, it is a thing of beauty in my eyes. So this one's, you know, another pretty quick pathing sort of level. It is fun because you actually do get to see the use of the invincibility power up again. You don't get to see that very often in the run because, well, there's a few of them that we don't pick up because you have to go out of your way to pick them up and they're not useful. This is one of the times when it you know, you don't really go out of your way, and it is very useful because you can take it all the way to the core, and it does massive damage to the core like that.
It's probably just to balance out all the lag from the last level. You don't get as much this time.
Yeah, I guess
Probably.
so.
Gives the
Possibly.
Dreamcast a moment to catch its breath.
Yeah, before having a level that causes nearly as much lag as that last one, you know. 28 causes nearly as much lag as 26, and it's kind of similar in a lot of ways. Because you just end up throwing massive amounts of missiles around because it's the only way to make it work. I mean, you know, just look at how many missiles are on the screen right there. There's probably 2,000 missiles on the screen at that point. Seriously.
Straight
That's
out
the
of
sort of game
Macross.
this is. Exactly. Classic Macross Missile Massacre, you know? So this is a level that often makes or breaks a run when I'm doing runs. You can lose a ton of time in this level if it doesn't go well, and routing this level and pathing it perfectly is probably the thing I've spent more time on with this run than any other thing when trying to figure out this run. Because I've pretty much pathed almost this entire game almost entirely on my own. There was a run before mine by a runner by the name of Nigluria who's done some runs at these events sometimes, and it wasn't that optimized. My current world record is almost 20 minutes faster than the previous world record.
Which is not that far off from the estimated time right now.
Yeah, the estimate is, you know, a lot closer to the time frame of the previous run then, and the estimate of this. So that was actually this level going quickly and well. With this time, and yes, I can tell exactly what the time this level took because the time on the bottom is accurate, and I know the numbers. So with the time that took, that would actually be quite a good execution of that level, probably about 3 seconds slower than my gold.
If you know what that is out there.
Yeah, if you don't know what a gold split it is in speedrunning, it means the fastest that I've ever done that single level. I do actually split every level when I run this game, even though there's 44 levels and a lot of them are tiny. It's the only way to really keep everything going. So yeah, this level is just about destroying all kinds of stuff, because you have to kill all these little enemy generators, which is what the, you know, interesting little things on the wall are, is enemy generators. And some of them, the generators in this game, can actually generate any other object in the game. That's how the coding works. So some of them generate things you wouldn't expect an enemy generator to generate, like, say, missile turrets, which can't move and just generate on top of the generator. And that's a lot of the setup of this level. And yeah, you just got massive amounts of things to destroy in this one. And you have to destroy all these little bomb trails, because if you don't, you can't go all the way around to where the core is at the end of the level. Okay, that's all of them.
Good thing the boss is just a core, because you're nearly dead.
Oftentimes your health level doesn't matter almost at all against the bosses, even the difficult bosses, because even when you're fighting the difficult bosses, they mostly just one-hit kill you effectively anyway.
Do we have time for another quick donation?
Sure.
There's a $15 donation by Diana and Paul. Hey everyone, watching from Japan. I have zero idea what this game is about, but good luck. I think they should have an idea by now.
I hope so, because, well, it's certainly about explosions. You'll see a lot of that.
They probably don't know because the explanation is in English.
Actually, it's kind of funny, even in the, I believe even the Japanese released game of this has English language explanations for the most part in the dialogue. One of the funniest things about the dialogue is that some of the dialogue and level names, including the name of this level, like like some of the level names are intentionally misspelled, and some of the dialogue is actually intentionally sort of mistranslated as to kind of invoke the meme of bad English. Just how the game does its comedy. It's pretty much a comedic game in its story and the like.
Welcome to Lag City.
Yep, this is a level that I nicknamed Lag City. When you begin this level, every single brick, every single place is a thing, is an object. Every single possible place in the level. It is effectively a completely full level when you start it. And so you have to kind of force your way up through this and then get to a moderately difficult boss fight of one of the bosses that looks like you, and made a little more difficult and trolly by the fact that there's so much lag caused by all the other things that are around. And as you see, I'm kind of staying near the top because that's the only real way to reduce the lag. Yeah, a lot of times there's some pretty funny sounds when you kill a lot of the bosses. They all have their sort of own little weird funny sound, and that one's one of the best. Little trumpet fanfare.
Probably should have been taps, honestly.
Or
Probably should have been. Now this
or
is
the
actually a
parrot one.
truly unique boss, and the entire level is just fighting the boss. So you go immediately right to him, so he's right next to you. Now, this boss has an impenetrable shield that he will sometimes take down, except, as you just saw there, I did a little damage. The shield isn't perfectly impenetrable, because if you do a super within him, like within the boss, you can do damage while the shield is still up. And then besides that, you can get a good quick attack the first time it goes down like that if you do it just right. That one cycle's actually hard, and that was perfect, so... Yep, getting the one cycle as opposed to a two cycle usually saves you about 12 seconds or so. Yep, this one is, it's sort of a pathing level, but the path is easy. You've just got to go down. But it's how you do that quickly that's difficult. But yeah, all you do is just keep going down. Yep, got pushed a little and therefore have to do that super.
And that super was actually necessary,
No,
unlike...
not quite, actually. It was more of a defensive super. It wasn't absolutely necessary.
Bang.
Because your super is one of your best defensive methods, especially if you're playing this casually. And so a lot of times you'll do your super because every single shot in this game, every single thing in this game is counterable with attacks. If you attack, any missile or whatever that's flying through the air, even things like the lasers and the fire bars and things like that, it actually does counter the attack, or at least temporarily for things that constantly fire, like the fire bars and lasers. And so that's a big part of the mechanics of this game. Yep, here's another little pathing level. We're getting pretty near to the end game levels, and a lot of the end levels are, a lot more intricate and harder than a lot of the earlier ones.
Before that, can we fit in a quick donation?
Sure.
There's a $5 donation by Spitfire1. Good job, guys.
Oh, thanks.
Nope.
Yeah, gotta love all the different funny sounds that some of the bosses make.
Yeah. One of the best ones is a cat.
Yep. So this one's pretty quick and simple. It'll look somewhat familiar. A lot like level 15, except it's a little bigger and the boss takes a little more damage and there's a little more going on around it.
Doesn't matter that much.
Yep.
Another Your Father level.
Yep.
And to that vein, if you missed the name of the level, it's Danger Room Domestic Dispute.
Yep, and that, of course, refers to the fact that that boss is, in fact, your father. Because you actually encounter him as a boss like 5 or 6 times. Like, he's also the boss of 33, that weird rolling around one. That's also your father. And he's also in, a few other levels. So this is actually a pretty tough level, especially casually. It's, you know, yet another of those just pure execution and pathing levels. No bosses, not much RNG or anything. You know, the bosses are core, but because of all the tight corridors and all the going through the lasers and all that, it can be pretty difficult.
Hi, Cat. Welcome back.
Yep, and that actually is, you know, done as the same character in the dialogue if you were actually having the dialogue, but we don't. Yep, and so one of the biggest things about this level is killing all the right bots here to open this door. We got it. It was perfect. They all died at once. If you miss one of the bots and you don't get it with that attack, you can lose a lot of time. But we got it, so good. And that's the second group you have to kill like that, and that's pretty much all there is to the level, killing those two groups of bots. And yes, I was intentionally delaying the attacks rather than spamming them to take advantage of the enemy fire around me. It's quicker than just spamming it. So this one actually has a boss fight that's very unique, because you can't get close to the boss like you normally do with most of the levels. The boss is inside a little square. We'll see it when we get to it, that you can't go inside that can fire through. And so it takes a bit of a different strategy to fight than any other boss in the game.
Question, would the boss actually be your mother? Because
Red
Plant,
sort of. Yep, and that is, you know, how the storyline goes. The boss is, you know, supposedly your mother, which is really funny when you see how it looks, because it doesn't even look human at all. But anyway. I think we didn't do the other one. There we go. So yeah, here we are. So yeah, with this one you just have to kind of, you know, move around and seek the attacks. You know, if you're low on health, you can actually take a fair bit of damage, and this is also a boss where you can often run out of supers if you're not careful. But that went pretty well. That was a pretty good execution on that one.
And the end of Toccata and Fugue.
Yep.
So we have another donation.
All right.
We've got a $10 donation from Grak. Bangai-O is one of my all-time favorites. When I picked it up, a friend of mine told me that level 19 would change my life, and it sure did.
Yeah, level 19 is really fun casually. If you remember that one, that was the one where we picked up the one invincibility power-up and, you know, sort of dueled with the boss with the invincibility power-up. Now, there actually are more invincibility power-ups in that level. They're actually kind of strewn all throughout the level, which makes it a really fun and interesting little level to do casually, because you can just kind of run around and just destroy all kinds of things and use the invincibility power-ups to not really have to worry about things.
Oh.
Yep. We just generated an invincibility power-up there, which I did because I was so low on health. That's a thing you can do. Normally that isn't like part of the routing, but I take advantage of it when I can. It was actually a faster way to finish that level than the normal way I would do it.
Yeah, your father has basically the same machines, though.
Yep. Yep, I always take advantage of it when I can, but because of the difficulty of getting your health down to that point, because how you generate that invincibility power-up is by getting a max level super when your power is low. And yeah, we didn't get the invincibility power-up, which means this is going to be a touch slower than it otherwise would be, but you can still do the level quite well even without it. Normally you want to pick up that invincibility power-up though. Yep, and that's why it's dangerous, but there's a full health we can pick up in just a moment. But the problem is, I hope I have enough health for this. Whoops, we missed the skip. So I have to redo the level. That is a major skip that I just missed. So I have to redo the level because it's actually quicker to redo the level. It actually skips about 1.5 minutes because it skips a significant part of a really long level. Okay, this time we got the invincibility power up, so it'll be more normal. So, how the skip works, you have to have that bomb come down right on top of you and blow it up right on top of you, just like that. And although it might not look like much, because of how that works, it actually skips about half the level. It's tough to get the missiles to angle in to hit these missile turrets sometimes, but if you don't, they will kill you. Come on, get in, there we go. That one, and you don't worry about the last one because you can deflect it. And this is the fastest way to kill this core. Supers actually don't help because of that little tiny aperture you've got. Not enough missiles go through. It's actually faster to just straight fire at it.
Something's pretty funny.
Yeah, he thinks it's pretty funny. But there we are.
Yeah. Of course he does. He's a funny-looking boss.
Yeah. So here we are on the third to last level, because 44 levels is the length of the game. This one's a really fun one and has some really fun strats in it. Starts a little slow because we just have to fly for a while and not do much interesting. But then we get to about this point. We actually skip that invincibility power-up on purpose because we need to do this. You do a very large super. Carry the missiles with you in that specific direction because you need to kill all those purple bots. Hopefully you got those. I missed 2 of the purple bots, so I had to go back for them. But the objective is to do that all at once and kill those 2 purple bots as well as all 4 of those missile turrets, and that way you can open the door, because that's what you need to do to open the door. And then you do that one, that's super. And this is actually another skip that we're about to do, and it's kind of a strange one, because it doesn't look like one at all, because you don't actually execute the skip. You force the boss to execute it for you. And whoops, we managed to die. So I guess I can hopefully show you doing this the right way and getting it in one attack, which I guess is kind of cool. But yeah, these last levels can be pretty dicey.
Can I read a quick donation?
Sure.
We've got a $5 donation by Red. Max and explosions at high speed? I never knew this existed, but now I want it. We've got an anonymous $25 donation saying, "Big love to the Night Runners, keeping me entertained during the workday here in the UK. Henshin a go-go, baby."
Seems legit.
So here we are. But anyway, what we were doing when we managed to die last time, you wake up the boss and have the boss open that bomb trail for you and then come out after you. Because normally there's actually a way you're supposed to open that bomb trail that's obviously the intended level path. That takes a much longer time than doing what we just did, waking up the boss and then having the boss open it for you. And this boss takes a lot of hits, so you have to fight him for a little bit. Takes a few good attacks. So 43 is actually a lot easier than a lot of the last few levels. I mean, it's still got its difficulties, but it's kind of the calm before the storm and the respite before the absolutely insane last level of this game. It's mostly just a long run with an invincibility power-up. So you have to kill these 4 specific bots, the 2 golds and the 2 purples, to open that door. Through there. And go from here to the core. said, that one was, you know, kind of the respite, the calm before the storm of the last level. Now, the last boss in this game is surprisingly difficult, and the level before him, although not exactly difficult per se if you know how to do it, is very grueling and long. So, we'll show you.
There's also a weird quirk about this. You get into the second laser usually if you're having many lasers, then super.
Yep, because if you're trying to get a bigger super when you're between a few lasers, it works better. Yep, and as a general pathing note for anyone else in this game, that is a very good point to refill your health. You can actually use those fire bars to refill your health if you're low on it. I didn't need it this time, but something I like to point out. And there's actually a ton of places to refill your health in this level, which is the main reason why it's not that hard, is you don't have many of the things that will one-hit kill you, and you have a lot of places to refill health as you go. So you'll constantly, take damage, but you'll keep getting these health pickups all the time.
Sure is a long level.
Yep, there's a lot to this level. Yep, those are actually backup health pickups that I don't need, so I didn't take, but they're there if you need them. Almost to the end here. That is a full health pickup right before the final boss.
Funny in the end that reveals that the boss is your uncle.
Yep, and we haven't gotten the credits yet, but it does indeed reveal in the very end that the final boss here is actually your uncle. This is the second time you face the final boss, amusingly enough, as well. The first time you face him is actually level 19. He's the same boss that you faced on that level. Now, he is completely invincible in this phase, which always happens when he is at that health. So you pretty much just have to dodge him until he stops shining like that. And that's the end. Well, it will be. Hey, we got the double kill finish, too. Time. And here are the end credits. It flows by really, really fast, so I hope you can read really fast. Not yet, but we'll get there.
Oh. Cool people who developed that game.
Yep.
And it says
Yep,
the actual
and
cool people.
Yep. We'll fast forward through this a little bit. You can hold the button to fast forward it. But anyway, thanks for watching, and that's Bangai-O on Dreamcast. Thanks a lot to all the people that came in on my couch here with me. And thanks a lot to the regular chatters from my Twitch channel. You guys all know who you are. Have a good morning or night or whatever it is where you are.
Or afternoon in Britain.
That's Bangai-O by Akerasi for you. Next up will be Gunstar Superheroes on the Game Boy Advance by Dunray. But first, we'll throw it over to some Twitch ads. Welcome back. This is SGDQ 2018. Next up will be Gunstar Superheroes by Dunray. One of our sponsors is Devolver Digital. Devolver Digital are purveyors of fine digital entertainment from independent artists worldwide. Visit devolverdonequick.com for the limited time Devolver Done Quick bundle on Steam. That includes Enter the Gungeon, Titan Souls, High Hell, Shadow Warrior Classic Redux, and Minute. Another sponsor of ours is Humble Bundle. They sell games, ebooks, and other digital content through Pay What You Want bundled promotions, the Humble Store, and the Humble Monthly curated subscription service. Customers choose how their payment is divided between the content creators, charity, and Humble Bundle. Over 129 million US dollar has been raised for charities across the world since 2010. Another sponsor is Super Meat Boy. They are currently developing Super Meat Boy Forever, the sequel to the indie mega hit Super Meat Boy by Team Meat. Coming in 2018 for Steam, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4. Add it to your wishlist on Steam now. For updates, follow them on Twitter @SuperMeatBoy or on their Discord at discord.gg/teammeat. We're also sponsored by Fangamer. Fangamer is a video game merchandise company designing and producing official goods for Dark Souls, Undertale, Persona 5 and more. All profits from GDQ merchandise sales are donated to Doctors Without Borders. New official merchandise from Dark Souls, Undertale, Persona 5, Hollow Knight and more is now available at fangamer.com/GDQ. There are also a couple of bid wars going on right now, especially for the coming up Gauntlet Legends. You can either choose a character between the Wizard, the Warrior, the Valkyrie or the Archer, which is currently led by the Wizard, or you can choose the armor color for the game, which is red, yellow, green and blue, and red is currently in the lead. The Resident Evil HDR Real Survival difficulty has now been reached. Great. If you donate $15 now, you're eligible for the Ninja Gaiden soundtrack. So get in those donations and get the soundtrack. There's also a bid war for the Pruny names in Disgaea 5. Currently leading are My Dude, Dude, and Doop Doop Doopy Doo Doo.